Hey guys, it's JH. Welcome to Practice Tee. Now for the first part of the tee today, it's just a bit of a report and on a product test that I did today. There's a company called Forte Golf, F-O-R-T-E, pronounced Forte. Now they're operating in Australia out of Queensland, and they've got this new golf ball, and what intrigued me was their advertising pitch line, where they refer to this golf ball as being incomparable. Now I'm a former advertising guy and actually copywriter and jingle constructor, so I know a little bit about advertising and the power of words. And to say something is incomparable is a big statement, but I love that, because if someone says that, then they're really, really confident that their product has got some gas, that it can back up the statement. Otherwise, why would you make that statement? So guys, the guy sent me a whole bunch of balls to try out. And I've done it. I've been over there for a few hours practicing, and they make 4 balls in their range. They have their bottom of the line, or not bottom of the line, but their non-premium ball is a soft ball called an SS2, and it's a very, very soft ball apparently, and it certainly feels like that when you hit it. The second ball up is a SS3, and it's a straight out speed ball, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. The third ball up the rung is a product called the Apex, which is a great name. Remember the old Apex ball, the Apex golf clubs? And that's basically their general in the range. It's the second in command, and it's a really nice ball, and it's priced around, you know, the Shrixon Z Star and the Bridgestone 330. Beautiful golf ball. But their top of the line ball, guys, which really intrigued me, is a ball called the Tour Performance S. Now why it intrigued me is because I'm a technocrat, and anything to do with technology in the extreme I love. And this golf ball, guys, is a 6-piece golf ball. 6-piece. Just extraordinary. Now I remember back in the 90s, early 90s, when the Rexstar golf ball came out and Faldo played it and won a couple of majors with it, and that was a 4-piece golf ball, and we thought that was just ridiculous in terms of technology. It was a great golf ball. I loved it. I played it for a long time. And it was only when the Pro V1 came out that I moved away from that golf ball. And I played that golf ball ever since. And I said to the guys, look, I'm prepared to test this, but I'm a hard taskmaster, because I've always felt that the Pro V1 is an incomparable golf ball, that no one else gets near it for performance overall in terms of consistency and what it does. But guys, I got to tell you, I went out and I tested, and I've been over there for 2 hours, and I hit shots up, and there's not a breath of air here today, none. Just like being in a vacuum. I've never known that on the JH practice tee. And the air's quite heavy because there's a lot of storms around, so the humidity's high. But I went over there, and see, when I test things, guys, I test them with real criteria of testing, and that is player performance. I don't want any feedback off a machine. I want to hit the ball, and I want to go up and see where it went compared to something else. Now, I hit a couple of dozen Pro V1s up there, and I play the Pro V1. I don't play the Pro V1X, I play the Pro V1. And they were very consistent where I hit them with the driver. And I was swinging really well. And had, you know, basically no variation on the shots. They were all in a, you know, 25-foot circle. And the difference in the Pro V1s in terms of distance from the shortest to the longest was only about 8 yards. So a good shot was about eight yards longer than one that was about a 90%er. So I started out with their soft golf ball, which is a nice golf ball, and I hit that, and I hit 3 dozen. I only had a dozen of them, but I hit them up, and I went up in the cart and brought them back. And they were amazing. They didn't feel like a speed ball. They just felt like a really nice ball. They felt like a Bridgestone, like their middle of the road ball. But boy, they had some distance. They were 10, 12 yards past the Pro V1, and nice flight, really good flight, and very accurate, nice ball flight. So they were long and a nice feel. That was the soft ball. Sorry, that was the soft ball. No, sorry, that was the speed ball. I hit the speed ball first. That's right, it was the speed ball, because I just wanted to see how it went compared to the Pro V1, because I hit the Pro V1s perfect, and they were longer and really nice. Okay, they were a little bit harder, but not what you expect out of a speed ball. So then I went to the soft ball, and it was significantly softer off the driver, and it was longer than the Pro V1 as well. But it had an amazing flight. The soft ball had almost a parabolic flight. It was really surprising. It went out and then it went like that. It was not a domer, you know when you hit a dome ball when there's no spin on it. It wasn't like that. It was sort of a real parabolic flight. And up there where I was hitting the balls, guys, there's not a lot of run up there. They haven't had the mowers out there, so it's basically all carry. You only get a couple of yards of run. So these were longer than the Pro V1 as well, and they had a great feel. So then I went to the Apex ball, which is their general in the range. It's in terms of ranking. It's its 4-star general. Really nice golf ball, and it was beautiful to hit. Absolutely fantastic to hit. When I hit that, I thought, if the other ball is better than this, then it's going to be something, because it was every bit as good as the Pro V1, and again it was longer again. Amazing, good ball, but obviously suits my driver and my golf swing, because and I didn't have a monitor on. I never look at spin, I can normally tell, but it was beautiful, but it was longer again. It was the interesting thing was that with the exception of the speed ball, these balls were the speed ball was much longer than the Pro V1, but all the range here were longer, and these again were about 10 yards longer than the Pro V1. And it just looked like someone gone up there and tipped a bucket of balls out. I was really hitting it really straight. So it was a great ball, really loved it, beautiful feel. Then I went to the Performance Tour S, and that is their equivalent of the Pro V1. And it's a premium price ball. I think it's going to sell in Australia for $66 or $68, whereas I think that other ball, I'm not sure of the prices, and for the guys at Forte, I'm sorry, but the Apex I think is going to be about a $44, $48 ball, so it's a premium ball as well, but this is their top of the line. And I hit this, and it was unbelievable. It just airmailed the Pro V. And it was, for me, it was a bit longer than the Apex. 2 yards, 3 yards longer than the Apex. But the feel off the face was just amazing. And it was only just probably about 4 yards behind the speed ball. But the feel off this ball, guys, you've got no idea what the feel off this golf ball is like. It was extraordinary. Amazing golf ball. Now, when I look at the dimple on them, I think they said they're a 340 dimple, something like that, but not a big number. Bit like the Remember the old Pro Traj Titleist back in the 90s? Or were they 320? They look like that dimple pattern. They're a big aggressive dimple. Bit like the Royal Max used to be. The Dunlop Royal Max that Jumbo Ozaki and all those guys used to play back in the 70s, late 70s. The dimple pattern looks like that. So it's a beautiful golf ball. It flies fantastic. Great trajectory. I think on a hard fairway, coming down with the type of descent that it's got, it would go fantastically well and be a long, long golf ball. It didn't feel like it was spinning up to me. If I had to make an assessment of the spin off my driver, I'd say I was probably 2200, because I tend to hit a fairly low spin with the drivers I've got, and the speed one I think was probably coming off around about 1800, because it wasn't knuckleballing, but it certainly didn't have the spin that this ball had, but a nice feel. It's very rare to get a speed ball that has got a nice feel. And really, I mean, I need all the distance I can get. So the Tour Performance S, the 6-piece golf ball, was extraordinary, absolutely fantastic. And then I spent an hour hitting some irons to 3 flags out there, and I was hitting, you know, like 9 irons, and I think the longest club hit was a 5 iron. But off the face of the off irons, guys, you can't believe how good this Apex and this Tour S 6-piece ball is. A couple of times when I hit it, I thought it was stuck to the face of the club. But you know, when you get a really soft ball like the old Spalding Tour Edition, they felt like they were sticking to the face, but they didn't go anywhere. Unless you were Greg Norman, you couldn't hit them. I lost 30 yards with the driver, and I'd lose a club and a half with the irons because they used to spin up so much. Now this has got that soft feel, and it's got great spin, but it's not distance losing spin, and that's obviously got something to do with the dimple, because it's extraordinary. Off the irons, it was just fantastic. And I hit some wedges out there, and believe it or not, when I did that test out there, I left my camera at home. Just actually left it in the garage, just in front of the car. And so I didn't have the camera there, but I was going to take some shots out there of hitting to the flag, but I could do that next week. But generally speaking, the overall test of the golf balls from the long perspective and hitting the irons was unbelievable. 5-star rating. Now when I talk about the range and that Apex being the general, this is the field marshal. This is the field marshal in terms of the commander. The other one's the 4-star general. This is a field marshal. Is it that much better than the Apex? It is better than the Apex, but a beautiful golf ball. And can it command the price? The 66 or 68 bucks? Well, as far as JH is concerned, it certainly can. I could play this ball right now, absolutely right now. And I've been a Pro V1 player, and since it came out, and I played the old low traj 384 dimple Titleist back in the old days until the Pro V came out, and I played it, and you've never been able to get me away. But this ball, the Rexstar, I love the Rexstar. I played the Rexstar for I think I played Rexstar for a couple of years, because at that time I was getting them for nothing. But that wasn't the reason I was using them. But I really did like the golf ball. But then the Pro V1 came out after the Rexstar, and I used that. So guys, this is the Tour S Performance Forte, Forte. Unbelievable golf ball. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some little pitches, about 38 yards to that flag there, and that green is like nearly impossible to get the ball to stop on, and that's why I'm going to do it. It'll be live video and very hard. And I'm going to hit all the balls. I'll hit them all. Again, I had all the balls. I went back home for lunch and had a shower and came back, and I had the other balls in a bag, and I left them. Again, I mean, I've had a terrible day. So I've only got a couple each of these balls, but we'll hit them a few times out there, but you only need to hit a couple to know how they're going to perform. So I'll actually hit a few shots to this flag here. I'll set the camera up a little bit better so we can make sure we're really dialed in and you can see me. And we'll see how they go. I haven't had any little pitch shots to see how the ball grabs, because the Pro V1 for me is the ball here. But I'm going to hit the hard ones, the soft one, the hard one, the apex and the 6-piece. So it'll be interesting. I'll be back.